This episode of Capes and Lunatic Sidekicks is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code SOUTHGATE to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
I love Ben Riley.
That's what you get.
It is what I get.
And what? Hey now. Anyway, here's what the rest of you get. Welcome to Ultimate Spider-Cast, Episode 4. I am Phil, and joining me as always, that troublemaker herself.
Yes, it's Lil Hellfire, the Menace.
That ghost spider, if you will.
Which, by the way, issue number 4 is out. Pick it up. It's great. Also, Miles Morales number 2 is out this week.
And Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 1. It was a big Spider week.
It almost feels like he's the fool or something.
Like what?
He's the Batman of Marvel. Although, I will say Wolverine and X-Men franchise overall give Spider-Man a run for his money on that.
Yeah.
It's a good time to be a Spider fan, though.
Heck yes. I can't wait for Into the Spider-Verse to come out on Blu-ray.
As Lucas says, we're getting this on Blu-ray, right?
Yeah. He's up for this one, too, yeah.
You need to give him a drop of saying that anytime like a Marvel movie. We're getting this on Blu-ray, right?
Yes! Oh, anytime we do a movie review, I need that, yeah.
Anyway, so what issues are we talking about today?
We are talking about Amazing Spider-Man number 20, Volume 2, number 25, and Peter Parker's Spider-Man Volume 2, number 25, both from January 2001. A more simpler time.
I mean, like, it doesn't seem like that long ago, but as I look at the artwork, I'm just like, holy crap, this is a long time ago.
I mean, Lilith, it was 18 years ago.
I know, there's people that were born then that can now smoke cigarettes. Not that you should. Just saying. No, like, yeah, it seems like a long time ago. Like, but to me, it wasn't that long ago. Like, I remember actually like, buying these books. Yeah, but like, looking at the art, like looking back at the art, I'm like, God, this was a long time ago.
Well, I think another thing about it though too is like the thing that always fools you is like at least in the Amazing issue, John Romita Jr. drew it, and I mean he's been drawing Spider-Man for how long? So it's like,
so true.
With his art, sometimes it's like, which era is this? Because he was drawing in what, the 90s, the early 2000s.
He's had quite the long storied career.
Yes.
As you know, most creators do. So it's a good gig if you can get it.
Mm-hmm. And I can't remember, but I'm assuming these both came in like 2 different cover versions because in the Amazing issue I got the bright shiny looks like tentacles. And then,
Saber Quantum Zone.
And then the second issue I just got the plain old him crawling on a pumpkin.
Spider butt. You know, nobody gets up in arms about Spider butt, but people get up in arms about Batgirl butt and Nightwing butt. Go figure.
There's DC perverts. Anyway.
I don't know which one is my favorite issue between the two. They're both really good.
Yeah, good. And again, this is Green Goblin month, so
yeah.
Well, if
we're gonna do about the Green Goblin story, I definitely think that Trick of Light is the better story.
Yes, because they kind of hint at it in the first one, but we get like more in depth on this second issue about Norman Osborn and like a flashback to him and his father, Norman Osborn Sr.
Yeah.
Who basically just has like a mustache but has the same hair. He's wearing the hat. But you can still see the hair.
that Osborn hair is like the one unique genetic marker. That and the need to have amnesia.
Yes. The first issue opens up basically with Norman standing outside the old family house, which I guess they said what his grandfather or his great-grandfather built.
Great-grandfather, yeah, because they're old money, darling.
Yep. You basically just remember being afraid of the dark. So what does the father do? Locks him in the house by himself for a night.
Hey, as you do, it's just like if your kid can't swim, throw him in the deep end of the pool. Sink or swim, son.
Thank God you don't have children.
I know. That's how I learned how to swim. Just saying. It works. Anyway.
And then, we go to Greenwich Village in New York, and Randy Robertson and Glory Grant are attacked by the Green Goblin, quote unquote, who doesn't seem to know how to fly his glider.
Hey-o. The thing about Green Goblin is that damn glider misfires a lot. It's real troublesome for him.
But it's also almost as if it's not Norman in the suit.
You gotta get back in the swing of things, Phil. Don't be so damn critical.
Swing.
I swear I'm gonna get that tattoo.
What?
The thwip tattoo. I just gotta find a subtle place to put it. Secretly, I'm covered in tattoos. Just not very visible.
Oh.
Yep. Anyway, this is, I don't know. It's just something about this story that just, I don't know, sticks in my craw. Just, I don't know what it is. I can't explain it.
Is it just...
Darkness Calling is just...
What, good or bad, it sticks in your craw?
Kind of both. It's I like it, but then it's like...
I think the idea of it is good, but it's just the era it's in. It's that thing where, Mary Jane everyone thinks Mary Jane is dead. Because that was a way they originally tried to get rid of that marriage, I guess. But she had just ended up being kidnapped. But then when she comes back, she's like, oh, we need to take a break.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
I think, unfortunately, I wish we were talking about Volume 1, Issue 25 of Amazing Spider-Man, the one with J. Jonah Jameson and the spider robot, that one.
Oh, the Spider Slayer, yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to that one, but I was just thinking, Volume 2, 25 has a lot to live up to.
Oh, yeah. I
think when you compare it to that in my mind, that's what I was thinking. I was just like, it's not a fun issue. It's dark, but not. Yeah. There's nothing to brighten it up. Like with the next issue that we're going to talk about, it leaves you on that note of, well, at least we know Peter's Peter. Nothing's really ever going to change about that. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
No matter what he goes through, he's still at the core of who he is. Mm-hmm. A good kid kind of thing. This doesn't leave you with any of that.
There's my drop. Peter's Peter. Anyway.
Pete's Dragon, if you will.
Hey-oh. But anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, Peter's having weird dreams, and then he wakes up and he hears Randy because they're roommates now, and hears him on the phone yelling about how they were attacked by the Green Goblin. Oh.
Sorry.
Mary Jane hasn't been dead for 5 minutes. No, she wasn't. So Peter goes swinging off looking for the goblin, and I just love how he's thinking about, all the damage the goblin has done. He killed Gwen, then they have a thing of Ben, but he doesn't call him by name.
I know, what's up with that?
I told you for the longest time they're like, don't mention the Clone Saga. Who the hell put Ben Reilly's head there?
Likeness in here. It's like it happened. That's one of the things. It's like it happened. You got to embrace it.
I know.
We hated it. You drug it out too long, but you did it.
And then Spider-Man swings through the bugle and sees the goblin has.
That's my favorite sequence.
And Joe Robertson's like, there's something different about him. He's like, I don't know if it was the same voice. He seemed he never seemed quite balanced on the glider. And then Jonah, I don't know if he uses this opportunity, just says, Spider-Man, help police, it's the web slinger. He's here to finish the job. So Spider-Man has to dive out the window.
Do what you gotta do.
I know. But then he goes to see Liz and Normie, your favorites.
You know, not Liz, but Normie could have been something, man. He could have been a big shot.
Could have been a contender. I know. But after, like, the late 90s, remember when we covered Spectacular Spider-Man 200, he was all like, kill Spider-Man. Now they seem to come to terms with Spider-Man.
Yeah. As you do. Spider-Man just kind of wears you down.
Although he's kind of like, oh, my daddy's coming back. It's like, for like another 7 years, kid.
How about you clone him? It'll be faster.
He's in Europe with Grandpa. I know it. And that would have been funny if they said that. That would have been dead on.
They didn't know what they were going to do. Otherwise, they would have totally said it.
Yeah, because the way this story goes, kind of, you know, when Harry comes back, kind of makes it seems weird. But yeah.
You know, it's comic books. There's retcons and time travel and Mephisto changing crap.
Yeah.
You know.
And then we see Norman watching Spider-Man and Normie, and he's just like, this is more than I could have hoped for. What's that?
Phrasing.
Phrasing. And Spider-Man stays with Normie till he falls asleep, and he's like, he thinks about how he can, you know, he's like, I understand, you know, how many nights I stayed up waiting for my parents to come back, and they never did.
Aww. Now we don't mention them either. We've let that go a long time ago.
Well, he was kind of dreaming about them and Uncle Ben and this issue and stuff, but then he swings to Aunt May. You know, Goblin's still out there, but Peter swings to Aunt May's house, and it's like in the middle of the night.
That hasn't ever backfired before.
I know. Or she's just like asking the Goblin to show up, but he's just like shows up.
He's like, Aunt May's lived long enough. I'm just gonna leave the breadcrumbs.
And he shows up in the middle of the night. Hey, make me food.
Classic ungrateful child.
And then he's like, oh, you feed me too much. And she's like, oh, no, you're Parker. You'll be skinny till the day you die. I'm thinking, yeah, you know how many calories he burns, you know, swinging through the city?
That good spider puberty.
Oh, ew. Ass mouse.
Yeah. Yeah, the story is just infinitely better. It's like a lot of like callbacks and more, I wouldn't say tender moments, but good moments.
But he falls asleep listening to that tape, which I think is part of the thing, and gets woken up by sirens. The Stacy house is on fire. I don't think we've talked about that yet.
No.
Because like Arthur Stacy kind of showed up in, well, that's when he first showed up, right? Or, no, maybe before that. But Peter Parker, Spider-Man 75.
Yeah.
Arthur Stacy, the brother of Captain George Stacy and uncle of Gwen Stacy, shows up, and then we get his kids, Jill and Paul.
Couldn't go for Jack and Jill, I guess.
I think she I don't know. It was kind of supposed to be, you know, Jill was longing for Peter even when Mary Jane was still around. Jill Stacy, who looks incredibly like Gwen Stacy, except she has dark hair instead of blonde hair.
You know, you gotta recycle, man. Oh, those identical twin cousins with different color hair.
That's right. And then her brother Paul. I always thought, maybe it's just the art, but I always thought, like, except for like the beard he has, he almost looks like Ben Reilly.
Like I said, you gotta recycle.
I know.
I mean, you know.
But their house is on fire, but then meanwhile, Arthur and Jill got out, but for some reason, the Goblin went after Paul and like rigged them with pumpkin bombs.
Not suspicious at all. Nothing to see here.
I wonder who he's been a thorn in someone's side. But Spider-Man saves him and brings him out. The medical attention as the cops pull guns on him.
As you do.
Yeah. Then he finds some razor bats in the trees and.
So casual.
I know. Yeah, Peter goes home. Yeah, Peter goes home. All of his other friends are in hiding, and it's like, okay, let's just leave. You know, Randy and everyone else has gone into hiding, basically. So okay, but Aunt May's still just at home. So it's like, what you be worried about? You know, there's one more target left out in the open, Peter.
they love to tease us with that.
Yeah, goes home and brushes his teeth, and he's like, oh, there's something in the toothpaste.
That's just what you want to tell the kids. There's something in the toothpaste.
I know.
Most kids don't even want to brush their damn teeth.
And I think the tape he was listening for had some kind of subliminal thing on it, because, the minute he's like, there's something in the toothpaste, he sees Norman in the mirror. It's like, yes, the toothpaste was just one of my many surprises.
Oh, God. Like, I don't know. I like the story. Like I said, it's fun and weird and twisted, but, like, nonsensical as hell. It feels like the writers of Gotham wrote this issue.
Oh my. But yeah, but Peter seems to wake up, and Norman's holding him in the rain, and Peter passes out again. It's like hallucinating.
This is all inappropriate.
Very weird, yeah. And then the Green Goblin visits Normie. No! But then we see, I don't know if it's Spider-Man hallucinating again. He just seems to be... Or no, he's I don't know, is this Osborn's apartment or something? Or hideout? Because he's like stumbling through the dark.
It's a safe house.
Yeah. And... I don't know.
So weird.
Osborn's,
the ending is so weird.
Osborn's talking strange to him and stuff, and Osborn's telling him stuff about, like, the light brings agony, only darkness offers any comfort. And Spider-Man's yelling at him for attacking everybody. He says, like, I told you it wasn't me. And he takes off Peter's mask, because of course he knows who he is, and he puts the Goblin mask on him. He says, it wasn't me in the costume, Peter. It wasn't me who terrorized your friends and loved ones. It was all you, my boy. All you all along.
It was you, Peter. It was you. This would have been, you know what? This would have been a little bit more fun had they let this drag out just a little bit.
I think they might have did a little bit, because, like, in one of the footnotes they mentioned that was that Return of the Green Goblin miniseries. It was like 3 issues or something. And I think the Goblin might have been flying around in that for a little bit. So I think that might have been Peter.
Ooh. Now that's the movie we need.
Because he was complaining this whole time, that in this whole issue, that, even though I was sleeping, I didn't feel like I slept at all. And, when's the last time that happened? Alien symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Better story. We'll get there, though. Like I said, the story's weird.
Oh, yeah, once we get through our villain months, like I was going to say, we could do those old, original issues of Amazing Spider-Man like you were talking about. We could do when he wore the alien symbiote. We could do it all.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do it all. Oh, wait, phrasing.
Drop!
Anyway, no. Like I said, I definitely like this story way better than the other story. The other story just...
Yeah. So, basically part 2 opens up, and it looks like the funeral of Peter Parker, and almost like he's waking up in the coffin screaming, I'm not dead!
Yeah. That's a nightmare in and of itself.
Yeah. But he wakes up and he's with Norman, who's basically Cosby'd him. Well, the roofie part. It's
a verb now. We don't know for sure if he went the full Cosby or the half Cosby. We don't know.
He roofied him, I know.
They left that to our imagination.
Yes.
But, yeah, this is infinitely better. There's so much going on in this.
It's basically, the whole spiel, don't go for the light, go for the darkness, accept your full potential. It's like, And that's when he tells him the story about his father locking him in the house, in the family house by himself. That, like, of course there was a big thunderstorm that night. It wasn't, couldn't be just like a quiet night. There's thunder and lightning and,
crashes and booms.
Norman said as a kid, he'd swear he could see ghosts in the house, and he's like, and I fancied I could hear the unearthly chittering of a green goblin-like creature.
He was always crazy, is what they're telling us. He was always crazy. Great. Those green tears, though, bro.
I know, that's weird. I don't know if it's just the lighting, but yeah.
it's the lighting, but I'm just like...
Gotta hit you over the head with that
The daddy's cup in green, too. Yeah.
And...
So he's always been crazy. The Green Goblin's always been there. And the Green Goblin was his dad, making him a crazy, nutcase, basically. This is what I took from it.
Well, yeah, there's like flashes on them. I guess it's the drugs, but he keeps like flashing between seeing Norman as himself and as Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
It's like, Uncle Ben, this isn't right, but then he sees through it, he's punching Norman. Norman just gives him
when he throws the test tube.
Oh. He's like, I'm going to undo you, Peter, make you want the darkness.
This language is just like, you couldn't write a story like this now, post Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby.
Phrasing. Yeah. But then I guess they must do a little flash forward because like Norman's torturing Peter. He's got him tied to a chair. There's 2 glasses of water because he says, you haven't had anything to drink in like 2 days. You haven't had a drop of water. There's 1 glass under a light and there's 1 in the dark. He's like, no. And anytime he reaches for the one in the light, it shocks him and stuff. So he's like, no, just go for the dark, boy.
Go for the dark. Yeah. That's not lazy symbolism at all.
I know. And Peter's just like, no. But then we got to get that one page of, I guess it's been a couple days. So, Aunt May's talking to Randy. And without even knowing it, Randy's giving him an alibi. He's like, no, he got sent out of town.
Randy!
Randy!
Never trust a person named Randy either. There, I said it.
Sorry, Uncle Randy.
I always think of that wrestler.
Are you a professional wrestler or boyfriend stuff? Wrestler. Okay.
I just want to just wait till April. I'm gonna wait till after you give the speech, but you're gonna be giving our 100th episode podcast with a black eye, buddy.
Oh. Oh my Lord, we'll be in the same room. We could have arm wrestling matches. We could have whatever we want.
If Rob's there, I'm just gonna go, okay.
Charlie's listening to this going, oh crap. But yeah.
Anyway, so
basically.
Damn Randy.
Yeah. But the goblin's still torturing Peter, shock it. Now he's chained to the floor, but he's like,
gotta keep going.
He's like, keep it going. Yeah, it's like, keep getting back up. And Norman keeps shocking him. And Peter's like, why are you doing this? And he says, I want to give you a gift, Peter. And he tells him another flashback story about when everyone thought he was dead, but he was in Europe. But he came back to town when little Normie was born. He's like, he's like,
just come with me. I have a gift for you. I'm like, no.
Oh. Phrasing.
Exactly.
But no, he was saying that, he was gonna kidnap Normie because he's like, Harry couldn't raise a son, a worthy Osborn heir. But then he said, right, he's outside the hospital. Who did he see hanging outside the window, keeping an eye on Normie?
Exactly.
Spider-Man.
Old Pete.
And he's like, that's when I realized the heir to the Osborn legacy has been under my eyes all along.
Okay, let me say, they got Peter looking like Shia LaBeouf down here, where he's thinking about in the panel where he's like, you think no one can possibly understand how it hurts? That one, he looks like Shia LaBeouf. Fight me.
Or were they going for Tobey Maguire? Because this was a 2001 issue, so
that's not Tobey Maguire. That is Shia LaBeouf. I'm going to need you to put this on the Facebook page and ask them who they think this looks like.
Okay. What, with the beard or without the beard?
With the beard.
Okay, because he actually starts growing facial hair.
Yeah, this is the panel with the beard where he's got the formula in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so basically Norman's telling him, you think I ever wanted it to be my idiot son Harry? That drug-addled moron had trouble enough tying his shoelaces, let alone running a global empire like Osborn Industries. No!
It's your fault.
I realized you were the perfect candidate for the job, and immediately I was struck with a rather wonderful idea. I was going to bring you into the fold, whatever the cost and however long it took. That's why you're here. But, I mean, what we've learned later that Harry was actually in Europe alive, wouldn't it have been weird if Peter had accepted and he's like, oh, yeah, Harry, yeah, Peter's your boss now.
Awkward!
He's my favorite son. He's not even blood, Dad. Shut up.
Which, draws on that whole Spider-Man, the movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
situations where they pull this from. So, I mean, Harry is pretty much a nincompoop. Like, let's just be real.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, some of the dialogue, you're right. There's some creepy moments in here. Like when Norman tells him there's an emptiness inside you just waiting to be filled.
I mean, anything is creepy if you try hard enough, but I mean, it's just phrasing. Right there. It's just right there. But yeah, these flashbacks were like, I was like, okay, I really don't care, but okay, thanks. Thanks for filling in a little backstory for me.
Yeah, but
that won't matter in 2 years. Thank you so much.
But yeah, he tries to give him the formula. Peter throws it in his face. He's like, never.
Damn fool!
I'm trying to show you a whole new world.
Like you're not Aladdin and I'm not Jasmine. Back off, buddy.
Exactly. So they like start the fight, and then Norman of course, where does he always go? He's like, but then Oz, once he punches Norman a couple times, Norman's like, I've been a fool. He's like, I should know. What kind of man are you? You've never been able to protect the ones you love. He's like, your uncle, your wife, because again, everyone thinks Mary Jane's dead. Your wife.
That pretty little blonde.
Yeah. He always got that Gwen Stacy card in his back pocket. He's like, yeah, that pretty little blonde girl you let me kill. Yeah.
He's got a point. Pete kind of sucks.
Yeah, but she would have been in danger in the first place had it hadn't been for Osborn.
Well, no, if he would have just not cared about great power and great responsibility, she'd be alive. just saying, when the heroes put on the mask, they start a unfortunate chain of events. But
it's just like Osborn's like, how dare you let me do the bad thing I did?
Pete's learned some lessons, but, he loses quite a lot. Quite like Oliver Queen on TV. Lots of losses. Lots of L's in those columns.
So a lot of fighty. We would get a splash page.
After all that talky, it was starting to feel like a Bendis book.
Oh!
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes.
No, we got a good Bendis book this week. Bendis. But again, symbolism, there's thunder and lightning again, just like in Norman's story as a kid. So, I don't know. Did Norman really want an heir to, or was it?
I think he was just messing with his head.
I think it was messing with his head, and I think it was Norman even working through his daddy issues.
All the best cowboys have daddy issues. Yes, we know.
Mm-hmm. I don't have Harry to slap around anymore, so hey, Peter, be my son so I can abuse you.
Just take Normie and leave. Like, honest to God, that's all. Just take Normie and leave. What's so hard about that? That kills two birds with one stone.
But then, Peter has Osborn down, and he's like, you never beat me, you never have, and you never will. And Osborn says, I already did. Yeah, it's a dark ending, because he's just like, don't deny it, we both know.
Leave some there, like.
He's like, you may have beat me physically, but he's like, I've beaten your spirit.
True story.
Because he was like, there was just a moment when you looked at the darkness and you blinked, you hesitated. Now you'll never be able to maintain that altruistic facade of yours. It's going to crumble.
Which needed to happen. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
You can't. It's like the whole people complaint with Bruce on Gotham. You can't be naive.
So after all that,
naivete is not good for a hero.
So after all this creepy dialogue we've been talking about, now you're saying he took his innocence.
Hey, it's possible. I mean, when he killed Gwen Stacy, basically, he really did.
Oh yeah.
And he just loves to jab that hot poker in that open wound over and over and over again.
Crazy?
No.
Okay.
Unless that's your thing. Hey, no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone most of the time.
But yeah, just like before he even flies away, he's like, I made you look at your reflection and you don't like what you see in the shadows.
Just leaves him there, cold, in the rain, wet, alone, on a rooftop.
So here's here's another thing. Like I said, Osborn's working through his issues. He's like, one of these days, one of us is, inevitably going to kill the other one. He's like, it's coming sooner than you think, and when it does, you're going to have to choose. So is that like, Norman would never come out and say it, but is that kind of like his like subtle way of saying, yeah, kill me?
Oh yeah,
I'm crazy.
Or it's a Voldemort thing.
I'm crazy. I have, I'm insane. I have emotional
I need to be stopped, but I can't stop it myself. Yeah.
I was broken before I even became the Goblin. So yeah. And
if we ever need to completely reboot the Spider-Verse, I think that he's kind of sort of killed him, but actually not on accident by dodging a glider kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just beats him to death with his bare hands. That's the only way I see it.
Yeah, but I mean, you really got to do some damage because he did take a glider right through the chest and he still survived that. So, I mean, Peter basically have to rip his head off or something.
Yeah, this story is about a B+ for me, and the first story is like a C-.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah, because I don't know, the first issue was a lot of setup, and it was like, oh, I tricked you into being the Goblin, ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole second one was just basically them back and forth, either just the manipulation or the fight.
Yeah.
More straightforward, but. Yeah, I'd say overall, I'd probably give the whole thing a B-.
Yeah, that's what that averages out to. So okay, agree.
And a sad ending, after Osborn basically mocks him, just leaves him there on the roof.
In the cold, wet and alone with his dark thoughts.
Cold November rain.
Which I kind of enjoy. Like I said, it doesn't always have to, end on this cliffhanger or,
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, they weren't afraid to do something different. To not plug next week's guest or next issue's guest or whatever it is.
So you said you want me to put a picture up on Facebook and say, what celebrity do you think Spider-Man looks like here?
Yes, please do.
Okay.
I might be I just want to check and see how crazy I am. Am I Green Goblin crazy? Joker crazy?
No, you're Harley Quinn crazy.
I think that's worse. Not sure.
It's a more innocent crazy, I'd say.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, on that note.
Join us next time. I believe I know we're covering the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. I believe it's going to be live commentary, correct, Lil Hellfire?
Yes, live commentary. So please do join us on the YouTube channel if you can. If not, listening on the podcast is great as long as you have rated and subscribed and commented.
And it'll be extra long. We might even split it into two. Who knows?
No. You're going to sit there and enjoy it.
Not even for the podcast?
Well, I told you, speed up the commentary. It'll be fine.
Okay, here we go.
No, after we record, you do 0.5 times faster, and it'll trim the time.
Okay.
Or you can just send it to me, and I'll do it. No worries.
On that note, Lilith will fix it, because Lilith fixes everything.
Charlie Esser, keeps on giving. All right, so again, yeah, we're going to be covering the Tobey Maguire Spider. Well, we're going to be covering all the movies, so send us your thoughts on those, and then after that, we're starting
Goblin in general.
Yeah, and after the movie, we're going to be February is going to be Doc Ock month, so send your thoughts on Doc Ock, Charlie Esser.
Yeah, Charlie
Esser.
Professor Esser.
Charlie Esser.
Hey, Professor Esser.
Charlie Esser, knock knock, it's Doc Ock.
Oh God.
Anyway, send us your thoughts. Email us, capesoflunatics@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/ultimatespidercast. And we have a Facebook group. Follow us there. At ULT Spidercast and at CL Sidekicks on Twitter. Follow CL Sidekicks on Instagram and the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And Lilith, if any psychos want to torture you, where can they their butts beat?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to be tortured on Twitter, you can follow me at Lilith Hellfire. If you want to be tortured with food and real estate porn, feel free to follow me on the gram at Lilith Hellfire 86. And if you enjoy talking Superman and or Smallville, please be sure to follow me at SaveMePod on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and or Instagram.
All right. Thank you for joining us for another Spider-Cast. Again, come back next time for the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, where you'll ask yourself, what is that 40-year-old doing in high school?
You're going to leave Tobey Maguire alone.
Dodging that bully, Deathstroke. All right, everyone. Swing back here next time.